Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to this video today. I just got done recording it, and after the video, I realized after I watched it back, there's a lot of mic pops, and that's my fault, and I'm sorry for that. I'm definitely going to improve on that as I keep making this type of content for you guys. I didn't want to redo it because I wouldn't have the same emotion, and it wouldn't be the same if I redid it. So I'm putting the video out there as it is with the mic pops, and I can't say sorry enough, and I can't thank you guys enough for watching. The support I've gotten for me to create content for you guys has been unbelievable, and I'm rambling on now, so I'm going to get right into the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, and welcome in. Thank you for listening. I'm hot today. I am hot about a conversation that I had with some classmates today, and that is what inspired this little rant I'm about to go on. We're gonna cover two things. One, we're gonna cover Giannis Antetokounmpo, but we're gonna get to that in a second because that one's a bit more controversial. That's not the ridiculous thing that I heard today. The conversation started because Giannis Antetokounmpo the other day said at a rally to Bucks fans that they should stop calling him the MVP until he wins it again next year. Now, I'm all about players being confident, but I took a little bit of an issue with that. We'll get to that in a second. But my argument was, you're so confident about winning the MVP, but you deserved it by default because LeBron and Paul George got hurt. Because I think if Paul George doesn't get hurt, he wins the MVP. Or he wouldn't have won the MVP because the Bucks had the number one record in the East, so Giannis would have won it. He was going to win it no matter what. People can say there was an argument between him and James Harden. There wasn't. But I believe Paul George would have deserved it until he got hurt. Same thing with LeBron James. But in this argument I was having with some of my classmates, they tried to tell me that Paul George had a better roster than Giannis Antetokounmpo this past season. The Bucks, you know, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe, Nikola Mirotic. I found this ridiculous. And when I told them that I thought it was ridiculous, they looked at me like I had three eyeballs. I was like, excuse me? And they tried to tell me, oh, well, you can't use playoff success to try and say that the Bucks had a better roster than the Thunder. I absolutely can. First off, because if you take Giannis Antetokounmpo off of the Bucks, they're still making the playoffs in the Western Conference. That's how good that team was. You say, oh, well, that's ridiculous. Look at who made the 8th seed in the West. It was the Clippers. And not the Tobias and Boban Clippers. The Pat Bev and Lou Williams Clippers made the 8th seed. The Western Conference is great. It's not that great. If you take Paul George off of the Thunder, they're not even sniffing the playoffs. Are you kidding me? Look at them at full strength. Let's just go back to 2 years ago. Okay? And this is a perfect example of why it is ridiculous to say that the Thunder had a better roster than the Bucks did. 2 years ago, the Thunder make it to the playoffs, obviously, and they lose in the first round, which is a recurring theme for Russell Westbrook, anyone who follows him. But they lose. This is Paul George's first year in OKC. They lose in the first round in 6 games. Did they lose to the super team in Golden State? No. Did they lose to the first seeded at that point Houston Rockets? No. They lost to the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz. This isn't, mind you, this isn't Darren Williams and AK-47. No, it's not that Jazz team. We're talking about Rudy Gobert, who's a great player, never been an all-star, but a great player, that's fine. Donovan Mitchell, who's great, but a rookie. Ricky Rubio. Mind you, Russell Westbrook is supposed to be this superstar teammate of Paul George, and Ricky Rubio scored 30 points on him in one of those games. Let's just throw that out there. And Joe Ingles. That's the team that beat the Thunder in the first round 2 years ago. But that's just a small sample size, right? That's not enough of a sample size to go off for the argument I'm trying to make. Not at all. So let's go to last year. The Thunder, once again, lose in the first round. Did they lose to the Warriors? No. Did they lose to the Rockets? No. Did they lose to the Nuggets? No. They lost to the Portland Trailblazers. Not only did they lose to the Portland Trailblazers, they lost in 5 games. And look, I love Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum as much as the next guy. But the third best player on that team was Evan Turner. Evan Turner. You can argue Enes Kanter is better, but if Enes Kanter is your third best player, you're not a very good team. I'll just throw that out there. Nurkic was hurt. If Nurkic wasn't hurt, then it wouldn't be that bad that they lost to the Trailblazers because Nurkic was having a great season. Nurkic wasn't even there. Rodney Hood was playing great, but again, Rodney Hood. Look at the players we're bringing up when we're talking about how good these teams are. There's no excuse for the Thunder to be losing in the first round year after year. It's not Paul George's fault. At least not entirely, especially not this year since his shoulder was hurt. And you want to say, oh, well, the Bucks made the Eastern Conference Finals because, the East is super weak. Who's a better team, the Boston Celtics or the Portland Trailblazers? Circa before free agency, obviously, because now it's a different conversation. Are you really telling me that if we're just looking at how they were in the playoffs, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Evan Turner is better than Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, and Jason Tatum? Not at all. Not to mention the Celtics have one of the best coaches in the entire league. The Bucks whooped on the Celtics. And if you take Giannis and Paul George off of their respective teams, and we're going to wrap this back around to the Giannis thing in just a moment, it's so painstakingly obvious that the Bucks are a better team than the Thunder. What? Well, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. Russ is going to get his 10th rebound to finish off a 36, 12, and 10 night, and the Thunder are going to be down by 15 in Game 4 in a clean sweep. That's what the Bucks would do. Because the Bucks without Giannis Antetokounmpo are better than the 2018 playoffs Utah Jazz, and they're better than the 2019 playoffs Portland Trailblazers. If you want to say, oh, well, the Portland Trailblazers made it to the conference finals. Yeah, and got swept. They took advantage of a Denver team that, while great, is young and doesn't have a lot of playoff experience. Denver's going to be a force to be reckoned with next year. Now that they have the playoff experience, they're about to have two of the best rookies in the NBA, quote-unquote rookie for Michael Porter Jr. Denver's going to be a force to reckon with, but that's a story for another day. Last season, they're babies. A lot of them had never made the playoffs before. It's okay that they aren't performing in their first shot. And even then, they took them to 7 games. The Thunder are stacked to the brim with players with playoff experience, and it didn't matter. If you swap Giannis and PG, maybe the Celtics beat the Bucks. I don't know, just because of how much of a force Giannis is, but I doubt it. I mean, the Raptors were going to beat him anyway, and now we're going to transition into the point I was making about the problem I had with what Giannis said. Now, I just want to preface this before I say this, that, and anyone who knows me will attest to this, I love it when NBA players get messy with their trash talk. And Giannis doesn't care. And I love Giannis Antetokounmpo to death for it. I love how confident that guy is. If you're the MVP, shout from the rooftops that you're the MVP. In the 2015 finals, when someone asked LeBron why they thought they had a chance, and he said, I have a chance, we have a chance because I'm the best player in the world, I didn't have any problem with it. Because LeBron was the best player in the world. What's he supposed to say? If Giannis was going and screaming from the rooftops that he's the MVP of the NBA, good on him. He won the MVP. He deserved to win the MVP because of the circumstances that happened, but I don't have a problem with that. But I have an issue with him acting so confident that he's going to win the MVP next year. And I have a problem that he's at this rally, and I'm not a Bucks fan, so maybe they have a different opinion on it than I do. But I would have a problem with Giannis talking about how he's going to win the MVP next season. I don't want to hear about you winning an MVP next season. I want to hear you talking about how we're going to win an NBA championship next season. Because I hate to break it to Giannis, but he kind of got exposed by Kawhi and the Raptors because of his lack of a jump shot. Yeah, the Raptors were one of the best defensive teams we've seen in the last few years. But if you're the MVP and you're going to run away with the MVP next year, according to what you're saying, shouldn't be a problem for you, right? I mean, if Giannis was the best player in the world, that'd be fine, but he's not. He's not better than LeBron James. He's not better than Kevin Durant. He's, as apparent from the playoffs, he's not better than Kawhi Leonard. And I think it would be ridiculous to insinuate that he's better than Steph Curry. His ceiling at this moment right now on July 15th, 2019 is the 5th best player in the NBA. That is Giannis' ceiling as of this moment right now. And to say that you're going to win the MVP, awesome. I love the confidence, like I said. But Steph Curry isn't going to have to share the ball with another 30-point-per-game scorer. Steph Curry is about to go off next season. LeBron and Anthony Davis are about to go off next season as long as they can stay healthy. Kawhi and Paul George both, if they can stay healthy, are about to go off. The MVP award is going to be very interesting for this next season. And I took a little bit of an issue with him saying that. You shouldn't be focused on the MVP. You should be focused on the Philadelphia 76ers. You should be focused on the Toronto Raptors. You should be focused on the Brooklyn Nets. You've won an MVP. And you deserve it by default. And that's the point I was making. Paul George was having a ridiculous year. If you ask me, he should have won the Defensive Player of the Year award. He didn't. It went to Rudy. Rudy's great. I don't have any issue with that. But he was scoring 28 points per game on 8 rebounds, over 2 steals a game, and he's almost shooting 40% from three-point range. Not to mention the buzzer beaters and the 40-plus point performances he had, putting the Thunder on his back until he got hurt. And he got hurt. I don't have a problem with Giannis winning the MVP over Paul George because Paul George got hurt. I don't have an issue with it. LeBron James, if he doesn't get hurt, he's going to win the MVP. LeBron fatigue, I feel like, is worn off. He's with the Lakers. He's at an all-time high almost in fan reception. That I'm saying that off the top of my head. Maybe that's an argument for another day, but if the Lakers make the playoffs, which they would have if LeBron wouldn't have gotten hurt and everyone else on the team wouldn't have gotten hurt. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're a Lakers hater. I hate to break that to him. LeBron would have won the MVP. So LeBron gets hurt. Paul George gets hurt. And James Harden wasn't going to win it again because he won it last year. And a lot of people in the media take issue with the way he plays basketball, myself included. Harden didn't really have a chance. ESPN wanted to convince you that he had a chance. He didn't have a chance. So by default, it goes to Giannis. By default, Giannis deserved the MVP. And good on him. But now you should be looking at winning an NBA championship. In the legacy of Giannis Antetokounmpo, a championship is next up. That's the next step. Giannis is 24. He literally has the potential to be the greatest player in NBA history. That is the potential that this 24-year-old Greek superstar has. And I'm not taking any of that away from him. I'm not taking any of that away at all. But you've won an MVP. Been there, done that. Act like you've been there before. It's time for you to win an NBA championship.